Hi everyone. In the last video, we have discussed the different methods of transfer pricing. That is, we have discussed the cost plus method of transfer pricing, market and negotiated method of transfer pricing. So in this lecture, we will discuss some of the advantages and disadvantages of those three methods. So the first method is the cost plus pricing. So cost plus pricing, under this we discussed that the transfer price is fixed on the basis of the actual cost of the production and some estimated standard cost and full cost of all the goods and services, plus if the company wants, it can also use full cost plus certain percentage of profit. So that is called as cost plus pricing. All the cost incurred for the production of the goods plus a certain percentage of profit, that is called as cost plus pricing. So what are the advantages for both the transferring department and the receiving department? So the first advantage is that profitability of the concern. Here means profitability of the company can be taken into consideration based on the return of investment. So whatever the returns the company stakeholders are expecting, so taking into consideration that goal, that aim, both this transferring company and the receiving company can fix one centralized price which can maximize the profitability of the whole company based on the return on investment method. Return on investment means whatever the returns the stakeholders are expecting on their specific investments. So next is better inter-firm comparison. So inter-firm comparison means comparing the companies, two similar companies who is having same operations, same manufacturing activities, same kind of business. So here, if the company is opting cost plus pricing method, they can compare with the similar companies in the market. Their performance and the competitors' similar companies' performance can be measured easily because we are taking into consideration here the cost for deciding the transfer pricing. So if we are considering the cost, so here inter-firm comparison, that similar companies' cost for the same product will also be same. So if that company, we can compare our company's transfer pricing with that same company's transfer pricing. So here that is another advantage. So if we have advantages, similarly on the other hand, we will be having certain disadvantages. So the first disadvantage is that, so based on that is, I told you, in cost plus pricing, we are having full cost plus. So that is, on the full cost we are adding certain percentage of profit. So according to this point tells that whatever the cost which you are showing, it is fictitious. Fictitious means it is not real, it is imaginary. So if one department is transferring the goods based on the cost of that particular good, whatever the cost they have mentioned in the accounts, so that cost will be imaginary, that cost will not be accurate, and and it unnecessarily increases, that is increases the overall transfer price, that is the asset value or the good value. So that is one disadvantage, that whatever the cost the transferee company is showing, that is not real, that is not accurate. The second disadvantage is that according to the auditors, whatever the cost you are showing, whatever the cost price you are showing, that is not acceptable as a profit. So whatever the profit percentage of profit you are charging on the receiving department for that specific goods, that is not acceptable by the auditors. The next type was that we discussed was the market prices. So selling the goods based on the prevailing prices of the market. So what are the advantages and disadvantages? We will look. The first advantage in the market price is that it represents the opportunity cost. Opportunity cost, here we know that opportunity cost is the profit foregone by not making the best alternative choice, right? So here, according to this market price, if suppose one example, one good is 300 in the market, one intermediate good. So this transferring department and receiving department. So now receiving department is asking the transferring department to supply that good from this department, that is the own department of their company. So this transferring department's value of the good in the market is 400. So when this receiving department research about the going on prices of the goods in the market, he will get to know that that same good he can get in the market on 300 rupees. If he is receiving that good from the own company department, they are charging 400. So if he is opting this one, if he is accepting to receive the goods from the receiving department, means here he is foregoing 100 rupees by opting this. So here it is opportunity cost. If he accept this one, this will be the best alternative, but he is rejecting this best alternative and opting this one. So here in the market prices, the receiving department can easily judge, he can easily calculate the opportunity cost as it is based on the market prices. So market prices cannot be hid by anyone, it can easily be seen by anyone, and it is very transparent. So we can easily calculate the opportunity cost, and we can choose the best alternatives. So there is no binding that we have to take from the company department only. If we are getting the same goods on lesser prices in the market, we can purchase from outside also. There is no binding agreement to purchase from the company department only. If we are getting on the lesser prices, of course we can go and purchase outside. So we can easily calculate the opportunity cost here. So the next advantage is, here this point is comparing with the first method, that is cost price method. So here it is telling historical cost fluctuate from time to time and are not readily available, whereas market prices are easily available. So according to this point is telling that whatever the cost, so first method we discussed, they are deciding the transfer price on the basis of cost. So this method is telling that whatever the cost we are taking as a basis, it changes from time to time. It changes from time to time. It changes, right? The prices of the raw materials will not be same of the previous year and today. If we compare the prices of today's goods and services, that will not be same from the historical period. So it changes from time to time, and it is not in the fixed position. And we are not getting that particular data, what was the cost of that good in the history. So but when we are considering the market prices, information will be available. It will be available all the time, and no one can hide that information. Market prices are very transparent. But if we ask any company about the cost for the particular good, that is not easily we cannot get. But if we want the prices of the market prices, we can easily get by visiting their websites or by doing any kind of research. So that is what this second point is. Next is, variances between current and predicted data can be controlled. Again the same point is repeating, that is the predicted prices of the market can be controlled, because we are predicting the future market prices by taking into consideration the current prices. By taking into consideration the current prices, we are predicting the future prices. So there is one specific control over the prediction of the future prices. Again, the narrow side, that is the disadvantages. So disadvantages, so here we have discussed in the advantages that it provides us a opportunity cost. Again in the disadvantages, this opportunity cost is again repeating. So assume that whatever the company from whom you are transferring the goods, so that is a leader, that is a price leader in the market, or that is a monopolist means single seller. He is the only seller. So in this situation, what will happen? If a company is a price leader, means whatever the price that company fixes, all other companies will follow the same prices. So suppose the company is charging 400. So again all the remaining companies will also charge 400. They are following this this company, as this company is is in the leading position, it is the price leader in the market, so all the other companies will also charge 400 only. So if all the companies are charging the same prices, there will be no opportunity cost, no chance for calculating the opportunity cost. We have to purchase from that company only, as in outside also the same prices, because that specific company is leading all other companies, or that company is a single seller. Next, cost prices are available from internal records. So it is talking about the company. From internal records we can get the cost prices, but market prices fluctuate from period to period. So it is here it is talking in macro. Macro means overall market condition. It is talking about overall market condition. So if we talk about micro, that is, if we are talking about our company only, one single individual, one single company, we can get records from our company only. But if you want to compare the prices from all over the companies which are in the market, it is very difficult, because one company's market price will be fluctuate from time to time. Next, so if transferring department is selling to receiving department on market price, this market price will include selling expenses and distribution expenses. So this department is transferring that good as an intermediate good to the receiving department. So there is no need of charging this selling and distribution expenses to this department, but this transferring department, as it is giving on the market price, this includes the selling and distribution expenses, which will not be, should not be included for the inter-unit transfer. As such, market prices will not be a satisfactory measure in fixing the transfer pricing. So if you are selling to a customer, if you are selling to your consumer, the end customer, it is accepted that you are charging the selling and distribution expenses. But if you are transferring that good to your own company, that is inter-unit transfer, own company's department, that is not accurate that you are charging the selling and the distribution expenses to the other department. This department uses that good and it is going to use it as an intermediate good for manufacturing some final goods, right? So for them, charging selling and distribution expenses is not accurate. The last one is the negotiated pricing. So negotiated pricing means simply it is deciding the price by bargaining. So that is best for both of the company and best for the company, both of the parties, that is both of the departments, and for the company also. So let's look into the advantages. So first is no need of active market for a particular good. So if both the departments have concern on each other, so there is no need to look into outside market. So if both the departments are having concern on each other, they want to maximize the profit of their company, they are more friendly, means there will be no need to look the goods for outside the market. Next is full autonomy. Autonomy means freedom. So full freedom will be there to buy and sell outside. So here it means transfer department has full freedom to sell outside. Receiving department has full freedom to purchase from outside. So there is no agreement, bonding agreement, that both this party has to sell within the company only, or this department has to purchase from this inter-department only. There is no such condition. They have full freedom. If they want, they can purchase within company. If they don't want, they can purchase from the outside. If they want, they can sell within the company. If they don't want, they can sell outside the company also. So that is the advantage. Next, managers are fully informed. So here bargaining, who will do the bargaining? Of course the managers will do the bargaining. So for bargaining, if you want to do bargaining, we need to have the full information. So here full information will be provided to the department's manager. Next is, it is time saving. So why it is time saving means going outside the company, searching in the market for the reasonable goods, for the reasonable prices, bargaining with them, it takes a very long time. So why not applying the same procedure from the department of our company only? If we do that thing, if we do that thing and the transferring department accepts our proposal, means we are saving a lot of time. That is the advantage. The last disadvantages of negotiated pricing is parties don't have equal bargaining power. So here transferring and receiving department, their managers will not be having the equal bargaining power. One department may be having the more bargaining power when compared to the other department. So there is no equal bargaining power. This department has full authority from the top level management. Maybe this department is not having that much of authority and responsibilities. So this department is having low bargaining power when compared to this department. So whatever this department fixes one price, that must be accepted by this department. So equal bargaining power, they won't provide equal bargaining power. Next, conflicts can be arise between the department, because if they are not ready to fix one centralized price means divisions, within divisions there will be conflicts and there will be non-cooperation also, because of not fixing the prices according to their wishes. So this is all about today's lecture. Any doubts you can ask. Thank you.